This is gonna be a long dead end. Get off the road! Ain't nobody got time for that. Last time we camped in north central Oklahoma before continuing on the next morning into the Panhandle for the tricky stuff. And of course, camping in places like this conjure images of classic Stephen King movies. It's kind of cool though, being in here in the rustling horn. Build it and they will come. Waukita, Oklahoma?
Yep, we're just outside of it.
We only rode 5-something hours today.
Riding time about 5 hours and 20 minutes. That's
5 hours, 20 minutes. How many miles did we put down?
246.
What was the general idea of why we made so many miles in such a short period of time?
Fantastic roads, fantastic riding conditions. Finally, weather that wasn't suffocating us.
We're debating on whether or not to put the tarps up. Richard says there's a 50% chance of rain tonight. 50% chance it's going to sprinkle on us, so I chose not to put the tarp up. And Richard took the bait, and he decided not to.
I'm not putting it up either.
So we're going to see. I mean, we like to live dangerously.
He's not turning.
Very good. Isn't that one? Yeah, that's the one like we passed earlier. I don't know what those actually do.
It looks like a spray rig to me.
That's what I thought earlier, because there was something. So maybe the arms fold out. And
Yeah,
instead of having a crop duster, you just go ride through your fields. But not just that, you can ride over your fields. You can ride in between the.
Yeah, everybody sometimes seems to give Oklahoma a bad rap. You know, I think skip Oklahoma, and I can agree. If some of these roads are muddy, they'd be very difficult, especially if they were sloppy. And I wouldn't ride them on a dare. There's no way.
Yeah.
But when the roads are like it is like now, and the weather's like it is right now, and it's been some of the most fantastic scenery we've seen. Some of the best roads that we've ridden.
Yeah, we rode through one section that looked like a mix between Montana and Wyoming. Just freaking beautiful. I was like, this is not Oklahoma. This is Montana or Wyoming, or it looked like a lot like the grasslands of Wyoming. So, beautiful, just rolling hills, big, deep rolling hills. And yeah, the mud would be a problem for me, and we talked about that because mud apparently is a big scourge here. Scares people off of.
Well, that and the sand, and we haven't gotten to that part yet.
So there's sand.
Yeah, I think once we hit the Panhandle, the landscape changes a little bit, and you'll see some sandy spots. But I've never had any problems on those before. Not enough to turn around, and they're certainly not long enough. That's not like the sand out in Utah and Nevada and out in the desert. But here, no, I would go through Oklahoma, especially if the weather's nice.
Yeah.
And what's the alternative to get across Oklahoma? You're gonna hard slab it? Well, that's brutal.
Fun. That's brutal. Yeah. And all this is waiting for people, the residents of these states. So if you're live in the South, you can go hit the TAT either in your state or the closest state. You don't have to do the whole Trans-America Trail. You could do a section and just see how it is. And
that's how I started.
Because Mississippi was a rugged.
There are portions of Mississippi can be very rugged. There again, if they're wet.
I never would have thought that. I never would have thought there was anything in Mississippi that would have gotten my attention. But there were some rocky, rugged sections there. Nothing like Arkansas, but you had to pay attention. You had to be a pretty skilled rider. At least know the basics. We ran into a guy that had downed his bike. Oh, tell us about your spill today.
Yeah. Another thing to take into account in Oklahoma, water crossings, especially the low water crossings. A lot of them are concrete based. There is a algae that gets on them that is slick. It is slick as owl snot. And
make sure you check out the water crossings tips video. I'll leave a link at the end. Enjoying my first cup of camp coffee on day 6. Sitting here in this beautiful little homestead parcel, former homestead parcel, surrounded by cottonwoods and cedars and corn as far as the eye can see. It's a nice day. Richard's off performing his morning constitutional, and I'm just sipping on coffee. Some of the best coffee I've ever had, camp coffee. Watch the bugs come out, and I'm gonna put them in Richard's chair. Watch this. Well, at least I got my boot cleaned out. Here you go, Richard.
Thanks.
Let's go find
There
out.
were quite a few mornings on this journey that you just woke up and you were raring to go. And this was one of those days. Moderate weather the day before, a good night's sleep in moderate temperatures, and sun shining and cool weather got us off to a good start this morning.
Piss break, fuel break, water break.
Gatorade.
We were just talking about filling up water bottles. I'm trying to keep an extreme budget. Last summer, I did the low budget motorcycle camping adventure, but I had almost twice as much of a budget last year. I don't have the budget this year. So if I can do $30 to $40 a day, I think pretty much anybody's going to be able to do that. You know, stop buying big screen TVs.
I'm $4 in. Gatorade and drink.
Guess how much I spent at this stop?
Just gas.
Just gas, because I filled up my little Gatorade water bottles here. Stuck them in the side pouch. That'll get me to the next stop at least, even if it goes up to 98 degrees. But man, it feels great. It's 10 o'clock. It feels like mid 80s, low 80s maybe.
Very low.
It's nice. The breeze.
Good breeze.
The breeze helps, man, even when you stop. All right, we're running through the first big long sandy sections, and I wanted to capture some of this on video, so maybe you guys can understand what this long sandy stuff is. So far, it's just, I don't know, a few inches of sand, but it's enough to get your attention, because if you're not used to running on sand, especially at any speed, it's very spooky. But this is probably a good place to learn how to ride on the sand better. This is not the deep sand learning curve thing, but maybe it's a good place to start.
I really want to give everyone watching a good idea of what to expect from the sand in Oklahoma, but that is difficult to do without scaring some folks and giving other folks too much confidence. Conditions on dirt roads are constantly changing with weather and maintenance, and if you watch my hazard series, you should have seen the road graders video. But I truly think the road crews are having a hard time keeping up with all the damage from the storms that came through just 2 weeks before. This goes for sand too, so I am not sure what to tell you other than 2 to 3 inches like we are riding on here normally only wakes you up instead of bogging you down. Except in the corners, turning in 2 to 3 inches will really wake you up. From what I have seen, the really bad parts of Oklahoma were the flat parts. No crown on the roads allowing for runoff, and accumulation of mud and sand. And you never know where those sections were going to pop up until you were right on them. Luckily, getting to the Panhandle, the road started gaining some slope and elevation, and the biggest obstacles quickly became cattle and horses. But beautiful riding altogether. Stop, she's gonna stare me down. What's up? What's up? Did you see her take a big shit? This is gonna be a long dead end. Get off the road! Ain't nobody got time for that. I guess it's time to talk about Open Range and not the movie. While this is not really considered open, there are no fences to keep livestock off the road, so the further west you go, the more livestock you will see in the middle of the road. I also talked about cattle guards in the hazard series, and they should be considered a potential hazard on dirt roads as well. While you will mostly see cattle out here, you will also see a few horses and plenty of sheep in some spots. Now, let's not give a shit. Yeah, babies. Yeah, babies. Yeah, babies. Typically, when riding dirt roads, I am almost always by myself or with a small group. When I follow other riders in the dirt, I like to stay very close to them to avoid all the dust. But following this close has its risk also. Following closely is a good strategy if you are sensitive to dust like I am, but in this case, this was mostly for the cinematic effect. I hope you enjoy that part of it. Richard has to piss because he drank 3 gallons of fluid at the Dollar General. So now he's afraid he might fill his boot with piss, so. And, you know, not just that, yeah, the right boot, because he hangs to the right. But we're gonna film it. Hey, yo, Richard, catch me outside.
Catch me outside, how about that?
Shit. Looks like the. Well, you know, something like this, you'd think they would come fix it. It's like, hey, maybe that's what they're doing by riding on the side. They just go push all the fucking earth down here eventually. Maybe. Look at these fucking crazy ass deep ruts. You can't even drive in here unless you got 4-wheel drive. What'd you say? Yeah. This is crazy, man. You know exactly why people avoid Oklahoma. Mud can be an issue in almost all the states that I've ridden in. Luckily, we had to deal with very little of it on this trip, having arrived 2 weeks after the heavy rains. But from what was left, the deep, dried ruts we saw, we even had to bypass a few. These sections could have been a trip ender for loaded bikes. I wonder how long you can actually maintain the effort needed to simply extract yourself from one of these sections. Just getting back to the pavement might take most of the day and all of your energy. We saw very few motorcycle tracks in these sections. I wonder why. Try to stay away from the inputs. Whoa, shit. Dude. Right. Hey, look, dude, we got this nice little thing on the side. Get us through this. How you doing back there? I'm out your way. Come on. See what you do there. Let's see how you bring it. Well, you know, if nothing else, you go through here when it's all muddy. If you want to do it, you want to just fucking struggle. How about bring some energy bars and lots of water, because you may not get out for a while, you know? Just on this one little section here, it could be fucking hours. Dropping your bike, picking it up, dropping your bike, picking it up, dropping your bike, picking it up, trying to get started again. Good to have some perspective on what you might be getting into. And this so far, this in no way inhibits me. No sooner did we get out of what was left of the muddy sections than we got into the deep, rutted, sandy sections. But first I have to deal with a bee sting. Ow. And I've got a method of decreasing the pain. It works pretty well. Just squeeze it like a zit. Get most of the venom out pretty quickly. Maybe the stinger. But he hit me in the mouth, and immediately I could feel it. That's not just a bug. Immediately, probably because of the stinger. Okay? Sometimes you gotta squeeze it hard enough that it hurts more than the sting. Look, if it don't get better than this, I ain't doing this all the way up over that hill. Fuck that shit. Hey, look at my track.
I know. It's not that far.
Fuck you.
I mean, I have been through.
If you're saying this is the last time, this is the last section, it looks like it's fucking sand all the way up there. All right, it's getting better. Richard seemed to be doing okay in this section, but my big heavy bike was just sinking, and when I sunk, I couldn't even get going. It was struggle. So I sought advice from this farming couple. Are we just idiots or what? Yeah, that's a little bit of a trap, huh? The farmer went on to describe all the broken bodies and bikes he had seen over the years on this section, and all the people from all over the world that flew home without their bikes, but with new upgrades to their skeletons. Been there, done that, and since Richard and I had already had our body upgrades, I made the decision to turn around. Not sure Richard liked this idea, as he was doing okay so far, and was convinced that he would have no problems getting up the hill ahead. But the farmer convinced me that the hill was the worst part. Since the bypass was only 3 miles away, I tucked my tail, and I chose to risk my health on a more worthy challenge down the trail.
Thank you.
This is easier going into the cornfields, man. Except for these fucking
Oh, he's going out?
hell yeah, it's easier. Fuck, I ain't struggling. You go play in your little sandbox. Fuck that. But we're in the cornfield, bitch. I mean, it's sandy over here, but it ain't that fucking sugar.
Well, look, I made it through that section, but I didn't say I didn't have to pick up my bike.
That's funny, dude.
I don't think it's quite as bad as what he said, but I'm also learning. Okay.
No. He said there's an uphill section. And I was like, no, I'm done. I'm done.
There is
I ain't walking my bike.
Oh,
I ain't walking my bike. Not a through road. I think that's pretty good advice. Not a through road. In fact, let me go back and record that shit.
Not a through road, see? Sometimes it's just wise advice. They're probably trying to keep people from getting killed out here. That's all they're doing. They're just thinking about others. And then others say, oh, it's just a whine about just because your fucking bike is thinking to the axle. Why are you whining?
While we would eventually wind up finding much deeper and much more challenging sand to ride in Utah, sand traps like these are very dangerous. Just like mud, you can be riding along on top just fine. Then you wind up breaking into deep, uncompacted sand, and the next thing you know, you were sideways. All that combined with the 2-track ruts that I was really struggling with made me determined to find other, more enjoyable challenges. And those we did find. But first, we need to find fuel, and the closest fuel was in Kansas. Off the trail once again.
I'm in the small town of Elkhart, Kansas. And we're going to camp here tonight. I'm actually telling you the story, but when I'm fixing to go over to the PD over here and tell it. We're from out of town. We're doing a task. We want to camp here tonight. How about that Elkhart?
If you have watched more than a handful of my videos, you will know that I'm a stealth camper. I pride myself on finding outstanding places to stealth camp, and the closer to people's noses, the better. But in this situation, I thought it was going to be more simple just to go up and ask permission. I've done this a couple of times before with great success. Haven't been turned down yet.
I'm here to turn myself in. Yeah, I did it. What do I do? Do I handcuff here? We're the lady at the gas station over there said we might be able to hang some hammocks at the library overnight. I figured I would ask you before, because you're the guy that's going to be running us off at 2 a.m. if we don't ask.
How many of you are there?
Just two. Just two dirty, tired bikers. We're not going to cause any trouble. We don't have any fireworks, no nothing. We're on the Transamerica Trail. I don't know if you know that. It's south of here, runs through the Panhandle of Oklahoma. I think it comes into Kansas somewhere, but I think we missed it. But we were out of gas, so we had to come up here. How far is this swimming pool right there?
Yeah.
So either one's cool?
Yeah.
All right, we'll see.
You know where the library is?
Yeah, she told me. Yeah. Thank you so much. And y'all gonna be looking out for us too, huh?
Well, you know what? She said we had to.
Yeah, well, I mean, my big deal is I don't want to be woken up at 2 o'clock in the morning and told I can't be there. But you know, usually cops know where the good stuff is too. So
I'm out till 1, and then we've got a nephew that'll be out on.
okay,
Thank
you.
Our dispatcher.
Thank you. We won't make a mess. Yeah, have fun. Now that's how easy it is. I think there's going to be fireworks all over the daggum town, but oh my gosh. Oh, looky here. Oh, it's the park. It's definitely the park. It's definitely the park. Definitely the park. There's no way it's not the park. That is amazing. And there's bad trips over there. Hey, look here. I'll trade you this bike for that DR. What do you think? Cop said no. 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 We don't want to sleep at the library. We want to sleep up there at the park because it's nicer, and it is. It's nice. We're hanging out. We're hanging out in your park up here by the pool tonight. All that footage into my laptop. So I got off the bike and I was gonna go unlock the case and realized that all the keys that were on here came off because they were jiggling down the road. Somehow they came off, and I started panicking. And I went over to ask the cop, and I meant to ask him, "You got bolt cutters on you by any chance?" And because I'm just gonna cut the lock off.
Bum, bum, bum.
All right, you got to hold a flashlight.
I gotta hold the flashlight.
I don't know if this is strong enough to do it, but I'm gonna get it out of there one way or the other. All right. I don't know. Oh, there it is. All right. Can you? Never mind. I'll get it.
It's like Operation.
Oh, oh, oh! Oh my gosh! Can I get it out? Oh my! How did it come apart?
I don't know.
How did it come apart?
But that's why you should carry a magnet, extendable magnet for a motorcycle speed.
Not only did we pick a pretty good town to fuel up and get some snacks, but a great place to hang out and watch the fireworks, and even some morons next door shooting fireworks at each other. Kind of like a Russian roulette with fireworks. Coming up next time, you're going to see some craziness as we roll into Colorado.